Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best brain body tools so you could make great decisions to feel, look, and do your best, and to ultimately move into the direction that you want in life, designing what you might call a successful life, the life that makes you happy. That's what this podcast is all about. And I'm thinking to myself, isn't it what all is about? Figuring out a way how to live a happy life. Today is Monday and it's a new week. And if you are someone who is committed to growing, to improving things, to changing things in your life and business, not just settling for status quo and what is, then probably this week, just like any other week, I'm gonna present to you some challenges that you'll have to figure out how to overcome in order to get to the other side, in order to make progress. Life of commitment, of growth is all about overcoming challenges and through those challenges getting better and improving and building the skill set that allows you to move further along on your journey. Folks, today, as you guessed from the name of the podcast, we are talking about this tool, the ability, the skill of figuring out how to make ourselves do things we don't want to do. Don't delay those things. Don't procrastinate on those things, but instead almost looking forward to those challenges, to those hard things, so we could learn from them. We can get better through them and we can grow into the life that we are designing for ourselves. Harvard education. Reframing. It's a way of looking at a negative or a challenging situation in a more positive way. Again, reframing. It's a way of looking at a negative or challenging situation in a more positive way. Now, I don't exactly like this definition, and I'll explain to you why, folks. Reframing. It's a skill that the most effective, the best coaches out there talk about all the time. Tony Robbins might say, where you focus on your life depends, the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask. And the quality of the questions you ask will change where you focus or how you frame things or what meaning you give to things. I don't like this definition of reframing as a tool to look at the situation in a more positive way, because it means, like one of my clients told me, well, it's kind of like fooling your brain, kind of like lying to your brain. And that what I don't agree with, and I don't believe it's to be true. And most of the people that I learn from and that teach a lot of skills of self-improvement, of making progress, of changing ourselves, they talk about how the same thing. Let's say you decided to take on a new habit of taking cold shower. It's like a lot of my clients start doing this habit. And this habit, it's hard. It sucks. But also, it allows you to, number one, train the skill of understanding the benefit of something, not liking it, but understanding that it's a benefit. And by doing it, you are doing something good for you, for your body, for your brain. That because of that cold shower, you now get this adrenaline, this dopamine release, and then you're going to feel more focused, more motivated, stronger, and more powerful in your day. And what can that do for your day? Right? So now we're not saying, I love cold shower, it's so amazing. No, but we are saying that there is a huge benefit in taking this cold shower. And plus, psychologically, you overcome a hardship right first thing in the morning. And then when a hardship comes into your day, you're also going to be more likely, especially with the additional adrenaline, dopamine, you say, and in your system, to get into that challenge instead of trying to escape it, delay it, procrastinate on it. And when we try to escape challenges, procrastinate on them, delay them, we delay our own progress and our own growth. We grow, we develop through challenges, through different puzzles and problems that we solve. So are we fooling ourselves thinking that there is a benefit to cold shower? No, we're not. There is the benefit to taking cold shower. Does it mean that we absolutely love the experience then? No. But actually, when you in the experience and you start telling yourself, and this is true, that through this experience, I'm growing and I'm conditioning my day for a better outcome. This is actually true. And that's where the trick happens. You all of a sudden start almost liking the experience. No, you feel the hardship, you feel the suck, but you're leaning into that. And you start accepting it, and again, almost enjoying it because you know what benefits it is bringing to you as you are doing it. And so again, is it fooling yourself? Is it trying to create something that is not there? No, it's looking at the other side of the experience. It's kind of like having a coin that has both sides. And you look at one side, and it's one picture, and you look on the other side and it's a different picture, but they both exist and you can see just one or just the other, but they're both present there. So the same you do when you look into a challenge, and you can just say, well, it sucks. Why should I do it? Why is it in my life? Why me? Or you can flip it and you can, this is a challenge. And I can grow through it. I can improve. And that will help me to get where I want in life. Like, for example, you start exercise habit and it feels hard. And very often you feel quote unquote lazy. And you start saying to yourself, well, why do I have to do that? But then you understand that you actually want the benefit. You want to feel stronger. You want to be fitter. You want to go through life without any problems with your mobility, pains. And exercise contributes to so many positive health outcomes. So now you look at the exercise, you're like, this is helping me to get stronger, to get fitter, to walk through life more powerfully and without all this, pains and complications that arise when we have a sedentary lifestyle. And then you tell yourself, this is the beginning of the habit and it always feels hard and uncomfortable. So it is normal. But once I get used to that, I will even start enjoying it and it will get easier and I will not feel all that, lazy or trying to escape the experience. And even if you go further and you look into the experience, how you can learn something from every single workout, how you can improve through it, how you can discover different parts of yourself. Like, for example, the workout is hard, but you're leaning in and you feel how your heart is pumping hard and fast, but you're still going through that, and you can push through the discomfort and get to the other side, even when you think that you cannot do anything any longer, and you learn, I thought I couldn't do it, and I did, right? There are so many cool things you can do. You can learn, you can improve through exercise. You can learn new movement skills. Am I saying that then it's easier than sitting on the couch? No, but there is this other side of personal growth and also preventing a lot of downstream problems that is also in the exercise. And these are the benefits we want. And so we choose to lean into the hardship, the struggle. And again, just like with cold shower, after a while, you start enjoying this struggle because of the benefits it is bringing you. And because it is a vehicle for you to get better, to grow into the person you want to become. Again, is it fooling ourselves? No, this is all true. It's just looking into the experience from a different perspective, putting it in a different frame. The frame is still there. You can change it anytime you want, but which one will help you to get where you want to go and make you the kind of person you want to be. The trick here, the very important, not a trick, but the one aspect that is very important, folks, you actually want the benefit. You have to want the experience. You have to want to become that person who, for example, does exercise consistently. If you don't believe it internally, if you think it's the most stupid thing in the entire world, why would anyone on earth do it? If this is your core belief, there is no way you're going to be leaning into the struggle and feeling great until you change that belief. And maybe you'll never change it, and maybe that's not your thing, and you'd rather experience the pain, for example, from not exercising and having your body in a less optimal state. That is definitely not my personal choice, but if this is your choice, then you can also choose it. But the point here is, folks, with cold showers, maybe a little bit easier example. Can you survive without taking a cold shower in your entire life? Yes, you can. Can you still be happy and successful? You most probably will. And can there be other practices that will deliver the same benefit? Well, there are some practices that can deliver perhaps similar, like exercise, right? Also boost your dopamine, also boost your adrenaline. But cold exposure and not exercise, not exactly the same things. Do not produce this, it sucks, but I'm still doing it effect. Doesn't exactly, again, work like exercise physiology-wise. So the point here is you kind of have to want the benefit, and you kind of want this experience, this challenge to make you a stronger person. You kind of want to go through this struggle. There has to be some internal desire, priority, belief that drives that. Otherwise, you'll never stick to that for life, no matter how much reframing you apply, right? You gotta understand what's in it for you. And that's what I think a lot of folks you might be struggling with when you struggle with any habit, or you say you struggle with procrastination. You probably just haven't figured out why that experience is important and why it is important to do it as soon as possible. When it comes to any challenge, folks, if this challenge is in your life, there are a couple of things. You got to understand what this challenge represents, how it can make you grow. And then the second thing, you got to understand if this is the kind of growth you actually need in your life or in your business or in your health, right? Running a marathon is a challenge, but do I personally need it? I don't. And so I decide to opt out of this challenge and instead go for other challenges, right? There is not one challenge or one set of challenges that is designed for every single human being. But once you understand that this I need to help me go through life successfully, that's when you want to lean into that experience as soon as possible and as many times as needed, as often as possible, whenever there is an opportunity to move through it and progress faster. So reframing, it's a very powerful tool to cancel, folks, any kind of procrastination. But again, you gotta understand what's the purpose. If you don't understand, then it's going to be more like fooling yourself, or I don't want to eat healthy, but I kind of have to, right? And it's so good for me, so I must start loving it. You have to understand internally what this eating healthy, what kind of benefit it will bring into your life, or what kind of pain it will eliminate from your life, especially down the stream. And once you understand that, that's when you start getting better at looking into the beauty of the whole process. And then after a while, you start loving it and you understand actually it feels and even tastes much better than all the other process stuff out there, and how it makes me feel and where it moves my life. That's, a really beautiful journey and destination. So the point is, first, understand your why. If there is an experience in your life, a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs and they work on their own thing. But the thing, they have vision, they have a goal, like I want to build this app, or I want to create this business that impacts a lot of people, like this educational or coaching or even food delivery business, whatever that might be. My clients, entrepreneurs, just like myself, we have a vision. But there are so many things, challenging things that we don't necessarily want to do, like so many different issues and problems arise and appear every single day. And sometimes if you don't work through that, you start delaying things. And we all have this tendency, not necessarily jumping into every single challenge. But when we teach ourselves this skill of reframing, of figuring out what this challenge represents and how it makes us grow, and how leaning into that challenge faster than trying to delay it will actually accelerate the progress in our life and in our business. That is a very useful, a very powerful skill. Navy SEALs, I learned it from Rich Davini. He wrote this book, Attributes, 25 Hidden Drivers of Optimal Performance. And he has this blog and a concept, Embrace the Suck. And he explains it in a story when he was going through SEAL training this Hell Week, and he was going through a lot of cold water exposure, not the ones that he designed for himself, but that was part of the training. And at first he was trying to resist it, he really didn't like it, and kind of like, trying to set a barrier in your mind. Well, I don't like it, but I have to. And it was a struggle. And he said, I wouldn't probably survive it. But then I reframed it. I embraced the suck, and I realized that this actually is helping me to recover. This actually is eliminating a lot of my muscle soreness, and that is making my mind stronger, and the rest of the stuff is easier. And then he started almost enjoying the experience, and that helped him to get through the whole week, the whole training, and become Navy SEAL, a Navy SEAL commander, and accomplishing a lot of important and difficult missions. So the point is, folks, this is a very powerful tool that can help you to go through challenges faster, to adapt to a challenge, and to actually be able to go through a lot more difficult stuff than you think you can go through. Because once you commit to a challenge and you decide that this is a good thing that will help me to get to the reward that I want, your brain actually starts to helping you to achieve the reward, to get through the challenge. The brain actually will help you to get more energy and to adapt your body and your brain, and give you more motivation, and give you more focus, and give you more drive and creativity. And the brain will put everything it can together so you perform the best to get that reward that you know is coming. Because if you don't make it clear for the brain that you want it and the reward is worth it, the brain will resist it, because the brain always resists the challenge, because it's additional spending of energy, the currency of life, the most valuable currency of life that is out there. And that brings me to a point that I wanted to conclude this episode with. When we work with my clients, we often work with a lot of what I call unproductive self-talk that tells us that we are not enough, that we are lazy, that we don't have enough this or that, and we don't deserve success, or a lot of different things people have for many different reasons. It's normal, folks. It's totally normal. Every single human being, even the most successful ones, probably the most successful ones actually have even more. That's why they are so driven to achieve. But all people have this unproductive, almost defeating self-talk. And one of the goals of self-development, self-growth, and self-mastery is to learning how to flip this self-talk into something more constructive. Again, back to the image of that coin that has two sides. And you can look at your self-talk and either follow it into the negative direction or turn it into a positive direction, a sign of something positive. So let me explain. A lot of my clients have this procrastination tendency on some things. And they're like, I'd like to change that. I would like to not procrastinate and delaying some parts of my work. I'm like, okay, well, what's your internal dialogue usually? And they're like, well, when I delay, it says I'm lazy and I'm not capable. I should just give up. Like all kinds of thoughts and thinking patterns. And what we do is I ask them, okay, how can we make this self-talk more constructive? When the thought I'm lazy comes up, you can actually tell yourself, okay, this is it again. I'm trying to talk myself out of doing this thing, but that means it's a challenge. It's an opportunity to grow, improve, and make something better. And I feel like not doing it because if it's a challenge, if everything was easy, I would already do that. And the only way to grow, to improve, to develop something is through doing challenging things. That's how anything gets better. When we are challenged, when we work on it, when we improve, there has to be a challenge in order for things to get better. And I'm lazy thought is just an indication that you are about to enter this challenge. And that's totally normal thought because your brain, when unsure, is always trying to save you energy, trying to help you to survive, or perhaps to think twice and decide whether this challenge is actually worth it. And this is where you want to go. And once we depersonalize this thought, once we look at it from a little bit outside of our own head, we stop feeling the negative feeling, but instead it jumpstarts this constructive self-dialogue that helps us to first understand whether that's what we want to do, where we want to go, how we want to approach the day or the problem, the next step in our business development. And if it is, then it's a challenge and it's okay to feel lazy, but it is an opportunity to make progress faster. So let's jump into that and grow through that and make progress. And you can see how this thought, I'm lazy, that could have become a negative tone of our day, now become just an indicator of the challenge ahead, kind of like a maybe stop sign. There is like something going on the road, or maybe some obstacle ahead. It's just like that sign warning us that there is something in front of us representing a challenge. So we gotta pay attention to that and choose what we want to do with that. Grow through that or go into some other direction. And once you remove the negativity, you'll see how much more action-oriented you'll become. You'll see the choice and you'll know which one to take. And you can do it with almost any negative thought, folks. Our thoughts are just representation of something that is either happened or is about to happen in our reality. And once we look at that, not as a part of ourselves, but as the sign, you look it into the eyes and you ask, okay, what does this represent? And what can I want or should do about that? And that's it. And then you can go through life picking and choosing and making choices and taking action. And this also almost cancels procrastination, because then you just make choices and you understand exactly what this self-dialogue represents, and you know where to go from there, depending on what's your objective, what's your goal is. So self-talk can be very, very powerful, something that will help you to navigate your life. And so treat it like that, either stop sign or just an indication of something that just happened or about to happen, and you need to look at it and make choices. Because after all of our thoughts and feelings are just a way of our brain to make us pay attention to something, to navigate our life better. I hope, folks, you found this podcast episode very useful and insightful, and now you understand the skill of reframing better, and you understand that it's not about fooling yourself and making yourself do what you think is stupid, but instead it's a way of looking at the other side of the coin and learning how to frame, how to think about the challenge, the thing that you don't want to do, as the opportunity for growth, for improvement, and to achieve your success faster. So you learn how to do that, and then you always have a choice. Do you still want to continue with the path of growth, of challenges, of improvement, or you want to take another route? And in life, there's always a choice. But as long as it is aligned with who you are and where you want to go, there is no right or wrong choice. So remember that. Remember that you have this opportunity to reframe any experience as a road to success. And by doing that, telling your brain that, it's okay to give me all the resources to go through that and come out on the other side, instead of, trying to avoid it. So once you learn how to use this powerful tool of reframing, there is, folks, nothing that's going to stop you, because you're not going to be in your own way. And that's the whole purpose of mindset work. It's allowing yourself to not stand in the way of your own success. And that's it for today, folks. I believe that is a powerful episode on Monday morning at the beginning of this new week, where you have a lot of challenges to attack, to go through, to grow, develop, and ultimately get closer to the vision of success that you have. If you found this useful, folks, please do not forget to share, take a screenshot, share it that way, review, rate us on any platform where you listen to the podcast, write a review, leave some comments, some star. It's the best thing that you can do to support this podcast and support me to create better episodes, to keep doing them. If you are here and you keep learning, then help other people learn as well. And folks, as usual, if you have any questions, please reach out, Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com. Maybe you need advice, maybe you need a book. I also run focused brain classes that people are absolutely loving. It helps people to finally understand how much control they have over the ability of their brain to focus fast, focus long, to get into flow state, to deliver work at twice and 3 times and 4 times the speed, to spend twice as little time on the same amount of work, folks. This is what focus and flow states allow you to do, right? So I'm doing these classes this week and for a few more weeks. So if you want to get in, email me, Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com. Share this podcast and have an amazing week full of challenges and opportunities to reframe. Talk to you soon. Stay tuned. Keep reframing.